Hi there, everyone. Welcome on board another informative Jamaica Magazine journey. I'm your host, Adrian Atkinson. Hope the holiday season catches you in a good mood. If not, don't worry. There's a lot in store for you in this half hour, starting with the news of the day. You can't afford to miss any of it, so stay with us.
Season's greetings to my fellow Jamaicans. This Christmas, let us celebrate in true Jamaican style and commit to safer roads. Last year, we lost over 480 lives in road accidents. This holiday season, let us do our best to stay below that number. Drive responsibly, slow down, avoid distractions, and never ever drink and drive. Buckle up, especially the children, and always watch out for pedestrians. The holidays are a time for joy, not sorrow. Let's ensure everyone arrives safely. From all of us at the Ministry of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, have a safe and happy Christmas and a prosperous New Year. God bless you all.
Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JS News for Monday, December 16, 2024. The government's new social housing program, NSHP, has entered a new phase with the handing over of the Victoria Palms Housing Development Project in Denham Town. The two-story development is the first to be delivered under Modality 2 of the NSHP initiative, which focuses on the relocation of vulnerable communities. Ground was broken for construction of the 12 units in 2022 at a cost of approximately $72 million. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness, who delivered the units on Friday, applauded the partnership of the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation and the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation to bring the housing project to fruition. He has sought to allay the fears of Jamaicans living in informal settlements about the transformation process of the initiative.
Whenever we talk about the informality issues, immediately there is a suspicion that the people who live on the land are going to be dispossessed of the land. A distrust of the state. That is not the case. The objective of the government is to give you legal possession of the land, to empower you as a homeowner and a landowner.
Expressing disappointment over the 2-year process it took to get the units done, the Prime Minister has vowed to work on the bureaucratic processes to see hasty relief when building homes for those who need it most. He pointed out that Rasta City in Tivoli Gardens is under construction now and says Board Villa is next on the agenda. The government has allocated $100 million to support 4,000 farmers in the production of Irish potatoes across 1,500 hectares of farmland. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green made the announcement during the recent launch of the 2024-2025 National Irish Potato Programme in St. Ann. He says the allocation is to help boost local production in response to rising market demand. Under the program, farmers will receive essential resources, including seeds, chemicals and fertilizers to enhance their potato yields and improve sustainability in the sector.
So we're going to be helping more farmers with more hectares. In fact, we want to target 40% of the total hectares. We want to provide chemical support for you to ensure that you can not only bring your crop to fruition, but you're getting those productivity numbers that we spoke about.
The initiative was first launched in St. Ann, and Minister Green says the ministry will set up validation plots to test and predict ecosystem processes alongside providing on-the-ground training for farmers in areas such as Guys Hill and Manchester. Additionally, he assures that the ministry is preparing for changing climate conditions by procuring tanks and drip hoses, which are set for distribution in January. Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon has revealed plans to intensify the use of technology in primary and high schools across Jamaica. The minister insists that students are eager to learn in diverse ways and technology will be the foundation of their education. Among other things, she says the goal is to ensure that every student learns coding and robotics.
We want to expand the robotics clubs in our schools And we have seen some schools who aren't your traditionally high-performing schools doing fantastic in robotics.
Dr. Morris Dixon was addressing the recent Tech Beach retreat held at Secrets Resort in St. James. She says the strategy is to introduce STEM education, critical thinking, and problem solving at the primary level, while the curriculum at the high school level will include skills training in fields such as optoelectronics and mechatronics. As students advance, the education minister says the focus will shift to enhancing their technological skills, preparing them for the workforce. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that dengue cases in Jamaica have been below the epidemic threshold or outbreak range since September 2024. Overall, the ministry says there has been a steady decline in the total number of suspected, probable, and confirmed dengue cases reported in Jamaica since November 2023. However, the ministry remains on alert with surveillance and testing for dengue continuing as the virus is endemic to the country. At the same time, the ministry is also reporting that cases of influenza or the flu in Jamaica is currently below what is expected for this time of the year. The influenza A H1N1 pandemic strain 2009 is the predominant strain of the flu in circulation, followed by influenza A H3N2 and a few cases of influenza B. There has been no case of the avian influenza A H5N1 detected in Jamaica this year. Still, the Health Ministry disclosed that routine surveillance activities continue, including weekly testing on respiratory samples to detect any new virus that may be introduced in the population. Members of the public are, however, warned that an increase in flu cases is expected at this time of the year, and persons are encouraged to take all necessary preventative measures. And finally, the Consumer Affairs Commission CAC is urging persons to exercise caution and diligence when considering financial assistance options such as loans during the Christmas season. Chief Executive Officer of the CAC, Dulcie Allen, stresses that people need to do their due diligence on individuals and institutions before they take out loans.
It's a busy time and we all are very busy and we want to get things done. And so persons take advantage of this busy period where you're not, they believe that you're not able to quietly look at what you're getting into.
Mrs. Allen, who was addressing a recent JS think tank, is also encouraging persons to read the fine print and ask for contracts so that they know what they're getting into.
Some places who are lending money, though, they don't give you contracts at all. You ask for something in writing so you can know exactly what are the terms and the conditions. What's the interest rate? How much money am I getting? When do I have to pay? What is the monthly payment? What happens if there's any default? Please, we're asking persons to be a little more responsible. As consumers, we have to take our role and take up, just how we manage our affairs.
And that's it for JS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan. Thanks for watching.
Good money management is key to gaining financial stability and creating wealth. If you are steeped in financing your wants and needs through credit facilities like credit cards, listen up.
When we think about credit cards and who should get one and who shouldn't get one, it really comes down to your repayment ability. Because when you get a credit card, you're essentially getting a 0% interest loan until the repayment date. When that repayment date comes, if you're unable to make the payment, that is when we're in problem. That's when you get the 45%, the 50% interest being added on to your credit card balance. So if you know that you're disciplined enough to make the monthly payments as it relates to how much you've spent, that is when you want to consider getting a credit card. Don't go out there and get these exorbitant limits that you know say you have to go beg, borrow, or thief to pay back. You want to get something that you know you can comfortably pay back each month, and that's really the secret to credit card. When you think about reasons not to get a credit card, it's if you cannot manage to pay back the monthly balance. And so at that point now, you're gonna have these high interest costs being added on to the balance. And you end up in like quicksand where you're just sinking because you can't pay back the interest, you can't pay back the balance, and it keeps going up every month. You're in a rat race. So if you know I am somebody who struggles to pay back things, who are bugger people money, do not go and get a credit card to add to that level of debt. I love credit cards. Why? Because I love other people's money. Because using other people's money, aka leverage, is one of the best ways to build wealth. These days you have travel reward cards, you have cashback cards, and so using credit cards can help to pay for other things in your life. You're getting money to use in other areas. Of course, I make sure I pay it back every month. You have to make sure you do that. So right now, go and look on your credit card statement, examine the balance, make sure it is something you are comfortable in paying. You control the balance that you get. The banks will suggest a balance to you when they approve the credit card, but you can say, here what? Bring it a little lower because I want to be in a position to make sure that I can pay this money every month. Also, stick to your budget. Do not spend what you know you cannot pay back. That is not prudent. So the combination of making sure that your credit card has a limit you can pay back, plus being wise enough to stick to your budget every month. Those two together will keep you in a position where you are not paying these exorbitant interests. So when we talk about the bagger credit cards, and some people have 3, 5, 10 cards, you see them backing out these fat wallets, fat purses with a lot of credit cards. We don't necessarily want to be in that position. Why? Credit cards have annual fees. And if you have 10 credit cards, that means 10 annual fees. That really does add up. Get a set of cards, maybe 1 or 2 cards maximum that fit your budget and your lifestyle. Do you need 10 cards? No. The fact that you have 10 cards indicates that you may have a spending problem. And that's a bigger issue that you want to work through. Don't work through it with the cards. Work through it by being disciplined and sticking to a budget.
Make money, money, make money, money, money. Make money, money, make money, money, money.
The cash advance is another popular thing. A lot of persons go and they push in the credit card into the ATM and pull cash out. Nice, because we're getting other people's money, but bad because cash advances have a very high interest rate tied to them. And even with some banks, the cash advance, you will never stop paying interest. A better option can be just going to get a short-term loan or going to a friend or family member and borrowing the money from them over the short term. When we're thinking about which credit card we want, it can first come to the bank that you do most of your transaction with. Speak to them about the different suites of credit cards that they have and the benefits. Plus, with credit cards these days, they have a lot of benefits tied to them. So when you go on the bank's website and you see all the credit cards that are there, you can pick which one works best with your lifestyle. You can shop around and find one of the lowest interest rates out there associated with the card and pick that one. Scams are very common. We want to protect ourselves as it comes to credit cards. General things, cover the pin where you're putting it. Do not just have the credit card lying out there, exposing the number and the CVV on the back of the card. We don't want to do that. Some persons lock their credit card. I've seen them do that where, they set a very small daily transactional limit so that if the card is stolen, somebody's not out there running up the credit card as well. Another thing when we think about credit card security is that two-step authentication. This is where now we do a transaction, but we get notified by email or text message about that transaction. That way, if it is not you who did the transaction, you see an email pop up, you can say, wait, that's not me. Let me quickly call my bank, tell them about this fraudulent transaction so that they can shut down my card and prevent any future fraudulent transactions on the card. The first way is called the avalanche method. Second way, we call it the snowball method. Number 1 in both methods, stop using the card. And then we're gonna write down the card balance and the associated interest rate on the card. So that means pulling up the statement, write down that outstanding balance and writing down the interest rate. A lot of people don't know the interest rate, but it's on the statement. It's on your monthly statement. Or you can call the bank and ask them about the interest. And then there are two ways you can go about it. The first way, you can start with the card with the highest interest rate and say, I'm gonna focus on paying that off first. So all your extra income, you're gonna put that towards paying off the card. The rest of the cards, you're only making the minimum payment. Then you work down to the next one, and going down that series of interest rates. Second method is saying, all right, I want to pay off the car with the highest outstanding balance first. A lot of people choose that method because it gives you more satisfaction. You say, well, when I knock off the 10 million card or the 100,000 card, I feel good. It inspires me to keep going. So you're gonna pay off the card with the highest outstanding balance. Pay as much as you can, and then the remaining cards, you're only making the minimum payment each month. So I want you to take a stab at either one. They both work. Try, tested, and proven they work. Pay down by interest rate, the highest one to the lowest, or pay down by outstanding balance, the highest to the lowest. But key thing, stop use the cards while you're paying them off. Put them in a drawer, put them in a box, put them under your bed, under your mattress. Make sure you stop using them because that's the only way you're gonna be able to pay them down. You can't be paying and using at the same time. You're gonna be in a rat race and the balance will never go down.
Jamaica is the land of paradise, not just for tourism. This little rock is also a business paradise, a fitting place for large investments with global impact. More on that next.
Our story is one of resilience, where the versatility and hardiness of wood and the adaptability and openness of water have created a nation that is Talawa. It is this philosophy that has enabled a robust business environment, recognized as the country with the world's highest performing stock market, the best Caribbean country for doing business, the easiest place to start a business and to get credit, #1 in the Caribbean and 8th in Latin America and the Caribbean for cargo movement, the best destination in the Caribbean. This is Jamaica, Jamrock, the place called Yard. This philosophy has birthed a competitive business environment supporting large-scale investments through developments in infrastructure, governance, manufacturing, trade, and logistics and services. With an area of 10,911 square kilometers from north to west and east to south, 150 kilometers of world-class highways traversing woodlands and green fields remain the bedrock of the economy. From there, supporting road networks journey through stories that resonate in the hearts of families. 3 international airports, with the Caribbean's leading Sangster International Airport, and 4 domestic landing strips extend the creative and enterprising spirit of those who call this rock home, all supported by a robust maritime industry. Jamaica's stable democratic governance structure is balanced by strong legislative and executive arms with an independent judiciary. This system facilitates numerous trade and bilateral partnerships that have generated over $6 billion United States dollars in foreign direct investment, or FDI, over the past 10 years. With improved fiscal management, the Green Isle of the Indies is the 3rd largest recipient of FDI inflows in the Caribbean, and the 2nd largest in the small island developing states. The country remains a prime manufacturing hub. The natural resources and the supportive framework creates an ideal ecosystem for agro-processing, light assembly and contract manufacturing, fabrication, and limestone-based industries. Homegrown conglomerates including Grace Kennedy, Continental Baking Company Limited, Jamaica Producers Group Limited, and Red Stripe are several of the brands recognized internationally for excellence. With expanded and upgraded port facilities island-wide, the country is capitalizing on the additional trade opportunities accessible through the docking of post-Panamax ships. These investments have positioned the Port of Kingston as the Caribbean's 2nd largest transshipment and multi-purpose hub. With 51 designated special economic zones, Jamaica is emerging as the 4th global logistics node interconnecting continents and people. With a sustainability approach, the expansion and build-out of economic zones are creating the ideal conditions for attracting global investments. Service with a smile and a no-problem attitude defines the service industry in Jamaica. This sector contributes to over 2/3 of the country's gross domestic product, thus asserting the industry as a key growth area. This is further supported by a cost-competitive workforce. Jamaica remains the largest English-speaking country in the Western Hemisphere. With an enabling infrastructure for investment and growth, this little rock is a business paradise with prime opportunities for swift delivery to consumers and substantial cost savings. So whether it is 19 degrees north or just over 3 hours from the United States mainland, choose your spot. Let's meet and discuss. Where multi-hued seas kiss sandy beaches, palm trees provide shade for notepads, and refreshment is the universal taste of yard.
The festive dinner setting of the Yuletide season wouldn't be complete without a glass of fine wine. Our favorite here is the Sorrel wine you can either purchase at the store or prepare at home. In our next feature, the RADA Home Economic Unit shares lessons for making your wine at home.
For thousands of years, man has been enjoying the delights of wine, the tasty alcoholic fluid which is the byproduct of fermented sugar and forms a key component on menus during festive periods. Whether it's dry, sweet, or the sparkling variety, you can learn to make your own as an amateur fermenting for home use or a professional running a lucrative business. The Rural Agricultural Development Authority RADA is fueling local interest by providing training in basic winemaking for persons in farming communities where there's an abundance of suitable raw materials. Today we're in class, learning the rudiments for the amateur winemaker.
This is one way we can utilize our fruits and our vegetables. You can use things like breadfruit too, but the thing is, it's nice to use the breadfruit when it's lush and ripe. You know, when you're ready to church, you say plaka plaka, that is when you use it because you get a real nice flavor from it. You use the soursop, you use everything that is there and get value from it. We talk about adding value and making the country go in terms of economics. That's the means. We have a lot of herbs, like our guinea hen or aloe vera and so forth. So the home doing winemaking is one means of utilizing all of those. And now that it's Christmas, if you had set your wine, say from June, July, you wouldn't have to buy some gifts because you could prepare your gifts. Wine is basically a juice that you're allowed to ferment. And how you work the juice is what gives you a good wine or gives you vinegar. No, there are three types of wine. This is yeast, and it is the main source of your winemaking. The sugar is what feeds the yeast, producing the alcohol and the CO2. When you're ready to do your thing, what you can do is put a little water in a container, dissolve, and then you can put this in it. And if it stays there and bubbles and starts like it's spreading, the yeast is good and well. If it falls to the bottom and nothing now go on, your yeast dead. So therefore you can't use it to make the wine. If you have a winemaking kit available, this would be the ideal thing to make your wine in, because you have an airlock here that can tell you when fermentation is happening and when it stops. This is filled with water, and when the wine is being made and the CO2 is being given off, the water in here bubbles. So automatically when no bubbles is coming up in here, you know that fermentation done. So you can pour off your thing. If you're just going the real homemade style, when you don't have the facility, all you have is a keg. So you're going to work from the books. The book says 3 weeks. Say you're making pineapple wine. Nice to use. It's the best sugar to use in that case would be the granulated sugar. Remember, the granulated sugar is clear, so you would see the yellow, it would show up. If you're doing a batch of roots, you're going to be sweetening with molasses and the dark sugar. Because when you drink your roots, you want that earthy taste. The fact of the matter is, when you break it up, you expose more surface area. So therefore, you're going to get more flavor being extracted. So that is why you pulverize it. After you finish everything, because the heat is a factor, you store your wine in a dark area, dark, cool area. Today we'll be doing a sorrel wine. It's Christmas time, so we have to nice up the place. The hot water is on the sorrel already, and we draw it, we start the sweetening process so we can speed up things. Now this bag here is a nice little drawstring bag. It's like a strainer. I throw the sorrel here and I lower it. Now, I leave the trash in the bag and keep it there so fermentation happens with it in the bag. The reason simple for that is the flavor at the end of the day is going to be stronger. When you use this and you have it in here, you don't go to 21 days. You go like day 19. You take out this and you get rid of it. And then you close it back, and on the 21 day, you get ready to throw. After it has fermented and you throw it off, you can add some reagents to it so that it clears up easily. The recipe calls for 4 pounds of sugar. I've already added 2, so I'm going to add the other 2. So we're going to stir consistently to ensure that the sugar dissolves. Now, it is important to remember that the sugar content affects the alcohol content of the wine. You may add too much and just get a very sickeningly sweet wine because fermentation isn't complete. Now we're going to measure our yeast to add. You need 1 tablespoon of yeast. This mixture is sorrel, ginger. So all of those little things you see there, that's ginger. And of course, a little cinnamon and the sugar. It's important to remember, you see here, when you add your liquid, at no point it should be up here. You should leave space to facilitate circulation of the carbon dioxide. When you are setting your wine, label your things properly. Label the date that it was set, and you count off your 3 weeks and label the day you're going to throw off. Then now, you are going to close off your container. Put a little tape around here and you do your thing, and 3 weeks later you throw off your wine. So we are going to decant, and please realize I'm not saying strain, I'm saying decanting, because strain you would get the impression that you're going to throw it to a sieve. We're not doing that, and you do it slowly. Now you see we're coming towards the end where you see the residue coming out, the yeast there. So you don't want that to get out, so you're going to put that down. And this, you're going to throw this away. And then now you cover this and you put it down, and you can, I usually tell my ladies, you can throw off every week. When it's nice and clear, then you can bottle.
Our half-hour journey through the pages of Jamaica Magazine ends right here for today. But please join us again tomorrow on this station for more news, features and information you can use. In the meantime, visit our website, gis.gov.jm, for this and other offerings. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Until next time, do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.